Good morning and welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy show. And as usual, I am joined by Beef Stew. How is it going after your an eventful weekend, quiet weekend? What'd you have? What do you got going this weekend?
Oh, I did absolutely nothing this weekend. Yeah, weekend at home, chilled out. Got a few bits and bobs done around the house. Yeah, it was kind of nice, also kind of weird. But yeah, I bowled a match against my wife on Sunday morning. You can go head over to our YouTube channel and check that out. It just went live this morning. I'm not going to tell you who won, but if you check out the thumbnail, it might give you some hints. But she was using her trusty UC2. I was using the brand new UFO alert. We've got lots more content coming on the alert, the dark code, some more fun stuff I recorded this week with the dark code. I've got a match, dark code versus parallax effect. That should be going up at the start of next week. So if you can, hit that like button. Maybe even give us a subscribe so you can get the notifications of when all our ball stuff comes out and our show. We try to give it a couple of days before we upload onto YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, this is probably Saturday or Sunday. So we appreciate you. Hello. But yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. How about yourself? How did yours go?
Well, it's been an eventful couple of days. Got to bowl team event Monday, 8 a.m. after a very interesting flight from South Dakota, and then double and singles 5 p.m. And bowled some BTM, bowled a couple of squads of the Bowler's Journal. But I guess since first of all, we did spend a little time up in South Dakota. I got to say that is a hidden gem up there. Really good association up there, and a very cool event. Very pleasantly surprised. We had a great time. 40 minutes from Mount Rushmore, and it wasn't a whole lot of fun flying out of there. But I don't think that had anything to do with South Dakota. I think that was basically everywhere on Sunday was just late all day long.
So yeah, let's just do a quick recap. What do you want to start with?
Well, we have a few videos here. What do we got up here first? We can start with either one of them. Let's start with the side events, though.
All right. Well, we've only got a couple of shots from the Bowler's Journal, so okay. Let's start with that one. You're over at the Orleans. The set the scene. The Bowler's Journal is the same pattern as doubles and singles, but significantly different from my my experience.
Anything close to South Point. In this case, it was much closer to the doubles and singles we bowled on, or the Bowler's Journal that we bowled on at South Point. Pretty not as easy as that one for sure. Pretty high scoring though. They're a little bit tricky with reactive. They were not very tricky at all with urethane on the gutter early, and then you saw a lot of guys play in and be able to hook it. The later after game one, they got pretty good from in there. But got some guys to help out.
Let's run it. The first shot is going to be a little rough. The camera guy forgot that John Burkett steps every shot out. We'll say he steps it out.
Yes, it's it. So, I was going with John. That was not his best shot, unfortunately. But we both were throwing urethane, and by now I'm throwing it slow, and I'm actually wheeling it a little bit. So
everybody, pay attention to this. We might have to have a replay of this one.
Well, my editor's doing me some favors here.
So there we go. So this was the first one. You got the typical Jacob Buttroff hit, and then he went with the old Kyle Troop. Bam!
She had a little pace. So yeah, that's a 2021 pitch black, and I don't have any other pitch blacks to compare it to, but it hooks.
She curves.
She curves a little.
You're not as impressed with me making it hook now, are you?
I don't know that it's any different, but I'm saying that it hooked more than my 2015 or 2017 Booyahs did. So yeah, that was I struggled a little bit. I shot 220. I mean, I say I struggled, but I threw the back six for 226 the first game. Then had a 710 for 230 the second game with another bad shot in the middle, and then shot 279 for 739. Yeah, 739. And so I thought I kind of had it figured out. Went down there again and started off stuff 9-pin, 9-bagger again, and another 9-pin for 279. And then I forgot how to bowl. I shot 195 with missed a relatively easy spare, 201, and had a split, and just I started scrambling trying to get the home run hit down the stretch, and I was like, I just couldn't knock him over as well. I moved left faster, and I didn't make them very easy for myself the last couple games. So Phyllis had a couple shirts on. She had them tailored, so they were V-necked and shorter sleeves. Next level.
Who was this, Phyllis?
Yes. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
She'd gotten the black and white one. She also, I think, picked up a different red one there. So yeah, I'm on the Golden State edition. I wore the Lakers edition out there. I think I wore that on the BTM day.
Yeah, we got some BTM footage.
Yeah, I was just as successful in the Lakers edition jersey as I was with my scores at the BTM.
Utah dominating basketball and bowling.
That
was my. I was getting it back.
That's good tie-in. I like that. Great segues.
This is a long question.
Yes. Ultimately, this question is: if your son switches from one-handed to two-handed, yes, you have to plug the thumb hole. Every hole in the ball has to be used for gripping purposes. Some guys, like say Ostu, threw it with two hands and shot spares with one. His spare ball, he had to have a separate spare ball that he had a thumb in. That's what that means.
Yeah, you just can't use.
Yeah, you can't not use the thumb hole, have a thumb hole and not use it. My son just went to two-handed as well. We started out that way. Then the rules changed or went into effect. They didn't change. And so now it is what it is. So,
okay, we got a good question here, Richard. How is your pitch black laid out?
Almost leverage 3, and it's just short of 4 inches from my PDP, and it's underneath my ring finger, so it's a lower.
So it's probably like 4 by 4 by 4.
Yeah, actually 4 by 3 by. Yeah, 4 by 3 by.
The pin buffer will be about 4.
Yeah, about 4. Exactly. 4 by 3 by 4, somewhere in there. It's close, yeah. You just kicked out a little bit. That's about it. So
Milwaukee's a fraud. Yes, sir. You would need two separate bowling balls, one with 2 fingers. Exactly correct, Mark. Do you see how the young kids from Buffalo played the lanes?
Yeah, the ones that you guys in doubles, and one of them threw it very firm from 17-18, and the other one was pretty straight around. The camera angle wasn't fantastic, and so I'm assuming they played a little to the right, but it looked like on the edge of the track in 10, 11, 12. And then the other 2 guys that ended up taking over the lead played right at that the whole time. And so there is some options to play right, depending on which pairs you catch, for sure.
If they had Bowl U on it, I guess they probably weren't giving away the 3-pin. Love you,
Yeah,
Rob.
yeah. I think it's more like the 3-6. So, but
yeah, it's just Rick. Yeah. Somebody's trolling you here, my friend Rob. His photo, his profile picture is an orange heel, which is quite funny.
Yeah, no, or you can learn how to bowl. Either one, you know.
Forget hockey. How about
you can have an orange heel, or you can have a flat spot in the bottom of your swing. It's up to you.
Hey, bro, there's a real easy way to get a shirt in Waco. beefandbarnzy.com. We ship everywhere in America. We kind of ship everywhere in the world. You just don't really want to pay for it at the minute.
Well, yeah, it's a little spendier to get it all around.
Cliff bit the bullet, and we had a competition winner in New Zealand. Yeah. To put in perspective how much the thing was, I think we sent the guy 2 shirts because, well, it was that far that whatever.
Wow. Speaking of the good and the great, the new team leader
in the standard division.
Standard division, our friend all the way from Florida, Robert Eddy. Well done.
Well,
at least your teammates.
Okay, Mr. Hawk. Here we go.
Yep. BTM. Well, first I'm going to finish up the details in the Bowler's Journal. You do bowl in the fresh every squad. No two pros can bowl together at any level. And so the scores are
just one. I want to stop you there quite quickly. The rules for the Bowler's Journal are really simple. If you can bowl with that person in doubles at nationals, you can bowl with them at the Bowler's Journal. It's exactly the same rule.
True. Yes.
So whatever the rules are for the nationals is the same for the Bowler's Journal. So, yeah, that's the easiest way to term it.
True. Yes. And so, see, we bowled twice. They were fairly scoreable. If you were throwing quicker reactive, they were not so scoreable. It's being slower balls and playing to the right was much easier than anywhere else on the lane. 794 is leading, I believe, at the regular division, and that's Darren Tang. Lenny Baresh is leading the Codgers with 760. I mean, the scores they're gettable there, I think, for sure.
Yeah. One other thing from previous years, you don't change pair anymore.
No, which is part of the reason why the scores go up just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the Bowler's Journal, the scores are always high.
Okay. Yes. And Rick is right. At the BTM 2 PBA members can, I believe it's not 2 titleists, but 2 members. 2 members can. So if that is your group, and it will not increase the score significantly. They're hard. They're hard there, and so that will be, the caching score is 630, I believe, right now, and
I do feel like
it's likely to go down as
this video that we've got lined up proves that Chris keeps it real. He doesn't just take the good. We get the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there isn't much good in this video coming up.
There's not a lot. We put it on here for you, and so when we do these full game videos, you get what you get. And yeah, I think you get to see 3 or 4 different balls. At the BTM.
Well, let me just restart.
First of all, it's really we did adjust the camera angle at some point. I did not.
Yeah, it's just this first frame. I just didn't really see the point of getting rid of it. Let me just make this full screen. Might make it a little easier to see it. So you're fairly far left here already.
Yeah, I started out. I played the track. There's not really anything on the gutter. They're pretty tricky out there. Gold Coast is an older surface. The track has some friction in it, so it's really best to probably try and use that friction. And so I had already played a little bit around 12, and I moved to 15. I was at 17, 18. At this point, I'm probably 18, 19. It's a fairly medium shortish pattern. It's challenging. There's no doubt about it, but it keeps the scores low. And then at the very end, now I'm starting to really creep in a little bit. I'm moving up, trying to get a little slower with some quicker bowling balls, cleaner balls. So that might be
let me just
Zen or Emerald. That's kind of where I was at. It's something with some polish on it to get down the lane and then try and
just 1 second, Chris.
Yeah.
I think you start chat. No, here we go.
David Anthony's D. He's 427. Say Doc's about even, and he's going to open this game. I'm even. I'm clean. Moved another arrow left. Started playing like 13, 14. Actually, I played 20. Then I played 13, 14. Then moved back to 20, and now I'm moving to like 23, 24.
So I just included that bit because that was when you were given a bit of a synopsis of what you did.
We started hitting the pocket a little bit there. So that one looked intentional. One of the few.
Yeah, that was the only one you got on film.
Yeah, I got 9 2 or 3 times after that. For me, they were better once I got a little further left and started using angle to create a little bit of hold. I didn't necessarily have to throw it that hard, but I did need to get it going a little left to right to create a little hold. There was Jeff Hatt threw an intensity, and he was able to stay very firm around the track area, and then just bumped it left of that, and he bowled a pretty good set over there. It's a shot maker thing. You don't have to shoot a big score over there to get a check, that's for sure. As usual, challenging. They're running a charity for, if Rick's still here, we'll have him put up exactly what the charity's for. It's children's cancer, I believe, cancer research. So made a little donation there. So, as usual, he runs a good event, always has. They're taking cards there as well as cash. There's the only event, I believe, that is taking cash, and then you can walk in. Insider tip, if you can find Cole's not shooting 300 every week anymore. Poor guy.
You did sign a bull deal.
Yeah, I mean, that Hustle Link used to look pretty good there.
So anyway, what's your insider tip?
My BTM insider's tip is if you want to bowl, it wouldn't hurt to bowl 2 squads back to back, and the second squad will be the one where you probably get the bigger score. Yeah, if you can find a squad where there's a little bit of a breakdown squad, they don't keep a lot of guys on the pair, so it's not like it's going to be kind of massive. But Children's Cancer Research in memory of Trevor Scher, there it is. Jody Ellis's sons. For those of you that are closer to my age, Jody bowled on the tour the first time around before it took its hiatus from South Africa. Lives here now. Her son went through that. It's a great cause. Once again, thanks, Rick, for doing something to take care of people in bowling. Much appreciated, Father Jedediah.
So, do you want to start nationals with doubles and singles, or team? Should we end on a high note? So we'll start with doubles and singles.
Sure, we can do that.
Because Gary asks quite a good question. I was disappointed when I reread it because I realized that he was being self-deprecating rather than just being an asshole. So that was a bit upsetting. He says, for someone that can't hit the same mark within 5 boards from shot to shot, what area would you suggest bowling in doubles and singles? Now, I read this the first time. For someone that can hit the same mark, looking at you bowling on the ball BTM, which I felt like was a fair question at that point.
Yeah, I shot whatever I shot. I shot 580. It was not a shot maker's.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like you had the what do you call it? The soldier bowling, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, there's more score out there than I shot. That's for sure.
But anyway, what area would you suggest?
For doubles and singles or are you talking about at the beat
point?
at South Point.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit pair to pair, and then the one downside to being a center versus the arena is they generally get them pretty level across, and there's very few pairs that are
bad.
Yeah, or a lot different. Down in the bowling center, you can get a little bit of everything. There is a place to play to the right on at least some of the pairs. The new leaders in doubles and singles, if you throw it a little straighter, I believe they're easier playing out early. Maybe not for very long, but the pair I caught, the right lane wouldn't. I mean, the one lane hooked a lot, and the other lane didn't hook very much at all.
We had the same.
Huh?
We had the same. And when you don't get that much practice and you're not that comfortable with it, having to touch it on one of the lanes is, it's kind of.
You need to throw it and then touch it, and the scores are, medium to fairly high. I'm still thinking, I just watched the two videos the night before. The two teams took the lead, back-to-back squads. I'm like, all right, this, throwing it hard, throwing it slow, throwing it hard, throwing it slow. That's not what they had to do. So I went ahead and moved in. If you have two lanes that are significantly different on the gutter, I think then you go play the track. You play 13, 14 to 8. That's the center characteristic. It's been really good there for a long time. There'll be a little touchy in game one. There's going to be some hook left. You're not going to have a lot of left. But fairly quickly, the track breaks down. And once the track breaks down, then you can move left. And there's plenty of oil left when you move there.
Yeah, you just if it keeps hooking when I bowled, you just have to just keep moving.
You just keep moving left because there's oil when you get far enough.
Yeah.
When I finally got to about 22, 23, and I threw an emerald, and I had the left lane was pretty easy for me the whole time. Once I got in there, once you got past the first 12 frames or so, it wasn't particularly hard. The right lane was tricky. We left about 35 two-pin combinations. It wanted to hook off 12, and then when you got past it, it went about 5 feet further, and then wouldn't make it up the hill. It just had a bad panel on it, I assume. That being said, you do get to stay on the pair the whole time, and I was just really slow. So I ended up throwing an emerald on one lane, and I threw reality on the other lane. And so I slid 40 on the left lane with the emerald, and I slid 37 with the reality on the right lane, throwing at the same speed. So once I got my break point in front of it, it took away the wiggle. If you run into that issue there, I feel like that's the best play to do it, is to basically get a ball that rolls in front of it. You'll have a little less back end, but you'll still be able to go left to right, and then it will take away that two-pin wiggle. If you get there faster, I bowled with Shannon. Shannon put a move on him. He bowled pretty good, and he even hit the right lane pretty good for a while. But, and just the one shot that's a little bit right, which is what makes that score high, is that one makes it back. It just two-pinned every time. And so the left lane, if Shannon would have had both lanes like the left lane, his single score would have been
significant.
He shot 670 or 680 as it was, and I would say the right lane cost him at least 75 to 80 pins. So,
yeah, I just quickly talking about nationals. I called Ryan on Saturday because I was asking him about a video that I was thinking about doing, and it was we'll see. We both got to sympathize with each other because Ryan got 8 out of 9 twice in the 159. Chapman got 8 out of 9 twice in the 159. And I choked in the 3-6-10 in the 10th frame of the third game. And right now, we'd have been sitting on just north of 10 grand between us if we'd have all hit. So that's pretty sweet. Obviously, the prizes would have come down if we'd have hit it, because obviously it's just divided by how many people. But right now, the last time I looked, I think it's about 2,200 for the 159, and the 3-6-10 is just north of 1,600. So that would have certainly made our trip a little bit more fun. Yeah. So make sure you enter those pots, because trust me, it's worth it if you can hit it.
Yeah.
And
For the
pretty much.
$20 entry, it's 25 to be in all of it for all the way through it.
Mhm.
So,
And it's by far the best $25 you can spend. I know plenty of people. Dave Sims' son Isaac bowled 540 one year and hit the 159. $1,600 hit or whatever it was. It was a pretty nice check for a guy who didn't shoot anything.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep track of it. It's not like the bowler's journal. You go up and you print the sheet off and it goes, "You've won money! Ding 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 ding." The clean pot is a pretty high. I was really shocked how high the clean pot was. Actually, the clean pot's over $400, and the scores are massive. Which is those two things don't usually go together.
Right. When you don't have to shoot spares, they know they don't have as many opens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cody Myers. I just saw a question.
Yeah, he's asking about urethane. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, I didn't feel like I really needed to throw it. If I was going to play the gutter, had I been able to, I would have thrown a pitch black on doubles and singles. But the urethane for me was way more about the bowler's journal than as anything else, which is what Ray told me ahead of time. But your question, you've thrown both of these a little bit more than I have.
I think if your rev rate's like Chapman or Ryan, then the fast pitch. And I think at Nationals, we're talking about, I think that for Cody, you're much more in the me and Barnes kind of range. I think the pitch black's better because I think it picks up earlier and it's more consistent. And most of the time when you're using urethane, you want it to pick up early. And the pitch black 100% falls in that category. Whereas for Ryan and for Chapman, their rev rate is so high that they're going to be, it's probably not going to miss it anyway. And they would rather that it would continue more. And that's what the fast pitch does.
I can only go, for me, the fast pitch is a little too quick. And so when there's carry down, it sees it too much. And I can only really, Ryan has both. And the pitch black actually outhooks the fast pitch for him. The fast pitch is cleaner.
And he can stay a little closer to it.
Yeah. And so, he uses those two balls off of each other a little bit. And I this time, team never wrong. Neither one of us is wrong, in my opinion. So, I think pitch black is absolutely the right way to go unless you're really, the super high rev rates can throw the fast pitch.
Rick Ramsey is basically putting up a billboard in our show. 30 clean at the BTM is worth $1,600. Jason Pavlenko says, in Vegas, I can spend $25 a lot of ways. One person was asking a question. I think they misunderstood your Arsenal, but Danny was asking, ignore the first part. It says, I have a flux and I find difficult to understand when best to use it, where it best fits in a bag. Ash, you're the flux king.
Admittedly, shiny or dull and 15 and 16 are a little bit different, but in general, I like the flux lane shined or a little bit of polish on it, and then use it as a medium, kind of a medium angular type ball. If it's down in the middle, down towards the bottom, ball 4 or 5 as far as lengthwise, it's fairly high RG. That cover is it's in the same family as the Badgers. It's just a solid version, and when you shine it up, it gets pretty angular, and so that's where I like to use that ball the most. With some of the other balls, I think that's where you get a little bit of separation from those. But it's when the front of the lane hooks a little bit, and then there's some friction down lane, I guess, or to the right. And in most cases in league, it's both.
I'll quickly answer Pat's question. Spoiler alert, this is the Storm Global Rotor Grip section. We have no idea really what we could do with the Purple Hammer, so we're not going to chat about it. We also don't chat about old rotor grip balls that we've never thrown either. So,
I hope the new one stinks. That's all I can say about that.
Just curious why no one ever mentions or uses other urethanes like the Pitch Purple or the Fever Pitch. I mean, the Fever Pitch it was so nichey. If you want to see a Fever Pitch being used by yours truly, find the show from the ITRC when I used it, and I almost 8-10'd. I bowled a fantastic game, and as per normal, when you bowl against DJ, I got robbed. But it just wasn't in play very much. The pitch purple for me, there almost is never enough oil on the lane to be able to use the pitch purple because it hooks so much. And
are they both quicker response? Yes.
Well, the fever pitch is just weird. Like the fever pitch just doesn't pick up enough. I just think that they were trying something with the fever pitch and it didn't really work how they anticipated it. The pitch purple hooks a ton and it's quick. And for me, I actually prefer using the pitch purple in a way that's completely different from what you would expect. I like using the pitch purple on like a medium pattern that's awful. Like if you're bowling on something where it's just like almost impossible to hit the pocket, I throw the pitch purple hard and straight because it'll tip enough that I can throw it 19 miles an hour and it'll tip. Where if I take the pitch black and I do that, it kind of checks and then it just does nothing and I can't get the 10 pin out. Yeah. So that's where I would use a pitch purple, which is a really nichey spot. And that's why I drive an F-150 because I can have it in the back for as long as I want and it doesn't affect my gas mileage. And then we go to this one place. I'm like, oh my God, the lanes are awful. I'll just go out and get that and I can control the pocket. So that's kind of for me. I would never take the pitch purple above a pitch black. And then if I was going to take a second urethane for me, it's going to be the fast pitch. Yeah. Just because if I'm going to be as far left as I kind of need to be a lot of the time with the pitch purple, I feel like I've got enough control with my hand that I can just use a regular reactive ball.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
So,
yeah, I wonder if it's a little bit similar to what that 70-30 was. That it hooks a lot, but kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it gets a little tricky with those. Thoughts on the new Afterburner Pearl? Well, the burner?
Yeah, the burner.
The burners, they look pretty good. I tested them a little while back. I have not put them in play yet because I've had tournaments coming up, and so I wasn't throwing balls that I wasn't didn't have a street date on them yet. So
yeah. There's battles to be won. Using a ball that nobody else can have, a lot of the time isn't worth the battle.
No, it just ends up being sometimes a little bit on the tour, absolutely, because we all have access, and that's our job out there. But it's something like Nationals to have something that's not going to be out for 2 months. It just creates a situation that's not really that.
And to be honest,
positive.
The people who upset you most times, who are most upset about it, probably aren't beating you whatever ball you use.
No. Well, everybody thinks it's such an advantage to have the new ball first, but how do you find out the best way to use it? How do you find out what best it is? Somebody has to do that. Mm-hmm. And when you find when you're wrong, it always costs you money. So
yeah.
And that's why we try and do tests so that you don't make the mistakes that we make. Obviously, we have more access to balls. It doesn't cost us as much to make those mistakes, and that's the idea: is we don't cost you a $220 mistake. We can help you avoid the one or two that we might make. And
I mean,
I like to throw them for a little while in practice and be able to play around with them a little bit more before I put them in tournament play in general.
If you check out Chris's Arsenal video, he explains all of that exactly. It's on the channel, the YouTube channel.
Hit subscribe.
Yeah. Subscribe, like. I mean, it's a good example, right, of when you get lazy and you don't really read the stuff and you've got to put holes in something because you want to try it. I feel embarrassed to almost say this, but I didn't actually realize when I looked at the ball, and now I look at it a little stronger, it's blatantly obvious. I didn't really realize that the UFO was a hybrid, not a pearl. And a lot of what I'm seeing makes a lot more sense now.
UFO alert or UFO?
UFO alert
Yeah.
is a hybrid.
Okay.
And I'm a moron. So I'm a little confused as to why it was going a little more forward than I expected and why it was so much stronger than I expected. I'm like, holy shit, this layout kind of made that much difference. A 5.5-inch pin as opposed to a 6-inch pin. Like, and then I'm listening to Schlem the other day on the Rotogrip Live with Steph. And he says, yeah, exactly. He says the hybrid cover. And I'm like, oh, you are a moron to myself. Like, now it makes complete sense as to why, because for me, that ball's really is way stronger than I expected it to be. Yeah, thanks, Danny. Yeah, like I say, check out that UFO alert video with my wife. It's definitely a bit of a fun time. If you hear like a part in the middle of the video where there's no noise, that's because Sony claimed a copyright and I just blanked it so that I didn't have to re-edit the video. Because the bowling center plays music in the background.
So a couple of these other questions, like my urethane badger, that's fine. Would you recommend a urethane ball for a lower rev rate player or something like an IQ Cooler? I think if your rev rate, I was thinking about this the other day. If your rev rate's basically under, say, what, 325, urethane probably is not your thing. But a shorter pin, a 2-inch pin, or a lower, weaker pin in a smaller core ball is probably a much more usable ball that gives you that same kind of control, but it's going to actually give you a chance to strike with it too. So,
just one quick one. Thanks for the stars, Trisha and Kevin. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan. We're not really talking about that because no, I haven't, and it doesn't come out till the end of August.
Yeah, we're still over 2 months away from it, and so yes, I tested it a while back. Stamp of approval. That's probably what you need to know for now. I think we will have a nice building block on top of a ball that has been fantastic so far. Current replacement for an original Badger, 15 pounds, I assume.
That's the gold one, right?
The blue one, the blue pearl one, is the original. So it was a little more forward than the gold one was. Actually, it's a little longer than the gold one was. Actually, an afterburner, the purple afterburner, in some ways, is not terribly different than that. I have a great answer for the next question. Is that what you're looking at?
No.
Oh, okay.
What a tool. He's much closer to 500 for you guys watching at home.
Yeah. The last time his rev rate was 326 is when his thumb slot came out. So,
you talking about Tom Clark?
No, I'm talking, I have a Pyramid Curse Pro. What's the best way to throw it in the river?
Call my man Cortez.
Yeah. If you throw it like him, it looked pretty good when he was bowling stew. Other than that, I know nothing about those balls at all.
Nothing.
Yeah, they're not on tour, so we don't even see them. So,
yeah, Danny's in England. My dad drills Danny's balls.
Wow. Tom says, listening to me tell him how to bowl is like listening to Dwayne Wade telling him how to play basketball. Then I get on the court and try to dunk and guard Damian Lillard. Yes, but in this case, you could tell your son, who seems to be winning everything in Wisconsin right now. So he can do it. And then maybe he can tell me how to, because, he's two-handed. His rev rate's certainly not 326. So,
someone says, I am assuming you're talking about the UFO alert. I mean, it's a step for me. It's a step up from the UC2, which is kind of what I expected, but the step's bigger. Well, now it makes sense because we got the shiny hybrid cover. It feels like it's earlier and a little less continuous but I still think it's quite sharp. When it strikes, it really strikes because it has that motion that kind of sets up into the pins, and I feel like it gives you a lot of forgiveness. Once you get lined up with it. I do feel like it might be a little strong for some house shots, though. Like for me, anyway. With the way I had mine drilled, if I wanted to use it on something like that, I would probably go with a lower pin to get the flare a little tighter, and then I think I'd be able to use it more on the house shots.
It's a really big core, so
yeah. And like I say, that cover makes it quite angular, so it's kind of like it just means that when you bowl on some friction, it just hooks a lot.
It'll step up. So a step up UC2.
Yeah.
As far as like 3-4 feet earlier. Watch the video, that's right.
But like I say, it's still pretty sharp off it. And for me, the dart code has looked better on the house shot so far. But like I say, I've got some fun stuff with the dart code. With the I've got my own UC2 versus UFO alert video, so that'll give you a good idea. All that's coming next week. I've just got to finish off editing them, and they'll be up. They're in the. It's funny saying editing them when they're uncut videos, but
Or a quick 2-inch pin. I assume this is to the urethane question. I think that is a very viable option for lower rev rate players or less speed dominant players, or more speed dominant players. Sorry.
Somebody's asking me if Anthony Coates turned up for the league last night after going fishing. Yes, he did, even though he didn't really catch anything. We bowled our last set on Scorpion, thank God.
Pat Brown was talking about the regular UFO, and that's the ball that for me is my heavy control ball. I ended up taking urethane because I knew it was in play at the Bowler's Journal, and it seemed like both surfaces where it might have been a little bit early. I think I could have used it in team for a brief, game one perhaps. But that's the control ball, that I can use on the fresh. I think it rolls pretty good. I think it continues pretty well. You can move in with it some to a certain extent for a big ball, which is a nice option to have. But it's certainly earlier and smoother and really cuts through heavier volumes.
Steve asks, is the Zen enough ball from a step down from a volatility torque? I would almost say that it's too much ball to be a step down from a volatility torque.
In some cases, the core, the cover on that volatility torque is actually very clean, and that ball tends to get pretty long for some people. The core is actually, wants to kind of lock up quicker, but the Zen is my go-to ball. That's why through the last 2 games of doubles and singles. Which we haven't even got to, or team event, which we haven't even got to.
Sorry. Yeah, we've got a little distracted by questions.
I think that's a ball down off of it, especially if you're taking a little bit of shine off the volatility torque.
Like that, let's just hear a word from our sponsor, Mr. Baker, and we will then transition back into the team event, and then we'll answer all of your questions and wrap it up.
Mark Baker here. Are you struggling with your game? Do you need another set of eyes? Is there that one thing in your game you just can't fix? Please let me help you. Go to markbakerbowling.com, click on virtual lessons, and follow the 3 easy steps. Remember, you can live anywhere in the world, and with virtual lessons, I can help you. Look forward to seeing your videos. Thank you.
Thank you once again to Mark Baker and markbakerbowling.com, where many of us have gotten lessons over the years.
So someone says, what did you shoot?
The team shot 2880. We struggled a little bit. We were a little too far left too early, and just didn't. We actually bowled okay game one, and it just didn't get a lot better. Guys got uncomfortable, and it just. We had a couple of guys that struggled every game in the transition a little bit. I shot 718. I used reality I slid 16, looked at 8, threw it to 4, kind of rolled it a little bit to trap it there. I had the front 4. Then I went high 4 out of the next 5 shots, including a 3, 6, 9, 10, which I thought I made, but I wrapped the 6 around the 10. And so in the 10th frame, I basically just made a move off that spare, and then doubled the 10th, sliding like 28, going like 16 to 8. And then in the fill ball, I threw a Zen, moved a couple more left, and then I threw the Zen the rest of the way. And then I just kept cheating a little bit. We had some traffic there. We had a little bit of rev rate. Kevin Denny and some guys could hook it and just throwing some surface, and got more guys into surface to help them get it to pick up the right way for the middle of the lane. And so I ended up at like 23 or so. But you know, you couldn't throw it hard. It's not quite like doubles and singles where you can throw it hard and automatically picked up in the track, but there was enough there to you could throw a little slow. I like throwing the Zen because it got to it cleaner. If you throw a little harder, guys with our group, they threw like idols. I think in reality probably still would have worked. Okay, phase 2s, any of those balls I think would be pretty good in team event. And like 223 the first game, 246 the second game, and 249 the third game.
So a really nice set.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to doubles and singles, and then about 5.5 minutes into practice, I'm like, "Oh crap!" It was a ugly practice session in first 3 or 4 frames. So I didn't really got 618 in singles, 209, 226, and then I actually lost the good lane for a few frames and shot 183. Then I shot 186, 247, 238. So,
man, you could have had a supporter like me.
Yeah, I bowled nationals. You're on the show all the time. I do not know I bowl nationals. You've done like 4 straight shows on the nationals.
When do you bowl, Anthony? We should all come out and cheer you on.
Pretend like you watch, but don't really watch. How do you say that? Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Okay, because we're the insider show and because we like to give everybody a peek behind the curtain of what they don't ever get to know, let's talk about financials out of that for you. How did it go?
Team event, there was I walked at 8 a.m. I'm at the bracket table. I sign up there, and I feel like I walk around me. He's like just looking at me and kind of staring at me, kind of creepily. And I look up, and Sam Cooley is looking at me.
Made your skin turn cold?
Yeah. All of a sudden, Dexter's looking at me through, and not the guy I really wanted to see. And so, aside from that, he also beat me all 3 games. He shot 226, then he shot 246 and tied, and then he shot 268. So there was about $600 in bracket stuff total, including all the PBA 50 and over, 50 and over stuff. And I was just hoping to break even. And then I found out that he didn't get any brackets because they taxed 30% off the top. I made a little bit more money than I would have, for sure. Made a fair amount of profit. It was a not quite $2,000 profit in team on a fairly small squad. Really, we had 4 or 5 open pairs at least. Doubles and singles, not a real strong squad, and again, I don't think it was quite all the way full. We only had maybe $400 and some dollars in stuff, and that included 4 of the century doubles because our team's old. So maybe $350 worth of stuff, and actually with not bowling very well, I managed to make $400. So
just to give you guys an idea, Steve Hawk says 30 off the top. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it works with the international stuff. So, and the thing that really, the thing that really sucks about it is if you lose, you end up just losing more money because they don't So if I put in $2,000 of brackets and I win 1,500 back, they take 450 off me, even though I already lost 500. So I hope that kind of makes sense. It's not, they don't do the accounting for you.
It's not off the net.
Exactly. It's off the prize. So I mean, years ago, it really sucked because USBC was $10.99 in refunds. Now that sucked. Having to keep track of your receipts and everything else. So, yeah, it's just for the internet. Simo says, I pop in, talk trash, then leave. Sounds like me at the Weber Cup. I pop in for one match a session, talk shit, maybe I win one, then I'll leave. All
right, you want to get through some of the questions then?
I mean, I like up on that ball because I don't think it flares enough to be down.
Right. If you're looking for shape, if you're looking for control as like a urethane replacement, then pin down. But only if you're looking to have it really smooth out the shape because it doesn't flare a lot.
We'll go with a 4-inch pin if you're going to go down.
Yeah.
5-inch pin down isn't going to flare at all.
Right.
Simo, like that description of me at the Weber Cup. I'm the only one on my team who gives Simo a game. He beats everybody. He beats the shit out of everybody else. He just beats me.
Zen, I've seen people take surface off of them and they roll pretty good. It makes it a little bit more like a phase 2. I personally think where the ball really shines is when it's shiny. See what I did there? The uniqueness is that it's shiny and it really hooks a lot. And pinups in general, to take advantage of that same thing. You're looking for shiny covers, go ahead and use taller pins and let it stand apart a little bit from the crowd.
To answer your layout question, I use a 5.5 by 4 by about 2.5 on that one. In old money, that is a like a 60 by 5.5 by like say 25, something like that.
Yeah, and I'm 5 by 4 by 3. So
nothing crazy. So Chris's is just above the fingers. Mine's an inch above the fingers. Just like nothing crazy one way or the other. Graham's got a good question here. Leaving Sunday for Vegas, bring in phase 2, UC2, Idle Pro, Hustling, Fast Pitch, and Spare Ball. Fantastic. Really like that.
Yeah, it's a really good lineup.
I feel like
provided you're not too speed dominant, so you at least have something that picks up in that first game of team event. That's really the only game where they really feel like they're kind of tight.
And like I say, this shows how much they've changed over the time because they didn't feel tight at all when we bought team event. So I couldn't use strong balls. So I mean, it just shows how over time, as the pattern gets laid over and over and over again, it's just going to be a little different. Like the climate and everything else. The tournament runs for 3 months. Like you can't get your league the same every night. Like just deal with the fact it's going to be a little different. We're just trying to get it into. This is why it's good because you get updates as people go.
Excellent replacement for Haywire. Those aren't very similar balls, really. Haywire's earlier and smoother.
I mean, I guess right now the only ball that I'm thinking of that you could put in there is a phase 2, and I don't really like that as an option. I think the phase 2 is way more angular than the Haywire is. There isn't really the Haywire was really unique. Simo, if Simo's still in the chat, Simo used the Haywire more than almost anybody. He might have an answer for that, but I don't think there really is an answer for that right now. The Idol was probably the closest thing, but that's gone as well. So maybe Bowl Expo will. I then don't take this as I know something because I absolutely don't know anything. I'm just saying that maybe at Bowl Expo we might see some different options to revisit that question.
Yes, Zen Master might be a stronger version of it when it comes about. That's let's see. Zen Dark Code.
Oh yeah.
What bowling colleges? You're just gonna go on bowl.com and look up. But West Texas,
Stephen
on,
Austin.
on the men's side, there's fewer options than women. There's a ton of women's NCAA programs, but
He did.
I did. It's the only halfway decent Texas school that I'm aware of on the men's side.
I have no idea, but there's a website that tells you.
Huh?
He says, anybody hear what ALS and Sean shot in last night? And I go, no, but they've got a cool website that usually tells you.
Yeah, well, they haven't gotten there yet, so it wasn't last night. They bowl this weekend.
There you go. Again, no idea. Also, I hate to tell you, but I don't care at the minute. We can't throw it. Yeah. We've got to highlight the board for you, Chris. That seems more of a Linda board.
Yeah, it wouldn't apply as much to me. I'm afraid. So
there you go. They don't bowl till Friday.
Friday, okay. That's my partner this weekend, Justin Bowie. So,
yeah, Tina was super thrilled with me for being somewhat within the negotiations of that. Like linking the dots. I was talking to one of the guys the guy who backs Bowie. He was saying, yeah, Bowie's not going to bowl. And I go, well, Chris is looking for someone to bowl. And then he got a little bit more motivated to find some more people for you guys to bowl with. So no doubt that's going to be a Calcutta that you're going to not want to buy, but probably will have to buy because your team will be a strong favorite, I would think. Although there are quite a few good teams this weekend.
No, there's a lot of good teams. I'd say we're in the middle. I mean, we're in the hunt.
Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. Bowie's won almost every event he's bowled there, him or Dimitri.
Well, last I checked, that's only 25% of the points. And we're not at Plano or Allen Bowl, so I'm not sure how that matters.
Miss Anita's pretty good as well. As ladies go. And I believe your fourth guy just won a tournament this weekend as well. So,
what you talking about?
Bid him up, bid him up.
Like my money fire.
Yeah, too cheap.
Yeah. All right, a quick adjustment thing. I'll let you handle this. So when you hit transition, do you like move your eyes, move your feet? What do you do when you hit transition?
Depends.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I'm not a big guy on moving my eyes down the lane. I'm not great at it.
I don't move my eyes down the lane ever.
But I move my feet left. I get slower. I change my hand position to create more rotation. Those are my three basic moves.
Here is an answer to this question, right? When you bowl on really long patterns, and when I'm saying really long, I mean like 40, 46, 50 feet, the moves that I tend to make are way more to do with my eyes. So, like, for example, if I'm bowling on Badge is a really good example because this is one of the first times I really discovered that this worked for me. I tend to move my eyes left first, and then I'll follow with my feet because you when the ball hooks too much on something that's that long, you kind of want to get it onto the oil earlier. Does that what I'm saying kind of makes sense, Chris? Like, you kind of follow what I mean? So you almost move your eyes left first, and then when that starts to hook, you move your feet, then your eyes, then your feet as you follow it. But in all other circumstances, like, you're going to move your feet, and then your eyes are going to move with them, really, because most times if you're lined up, you're going to continue to play the same shape. But when you move left, if you're getting your body aligned in the same way, your eyes will automatically move with you, or they do for me anyway. So that's kind of how
it's careful what you move your feet generally is a standard rule.
And most times for most people, whether you move your eyes or not, your target will move as you move your feet.
Yeah. 2-inch pin on a high road max for short pin layouts, ASIMs or symmetricals.
I think that's okay.
symmetricals 100% of the time for me.
Yep. And Stephanie Johnson did really good with something similar to that in the ladies' stop when they bowled on. Kelly Kulick won. Congratulations to Kelly. It was awesome to see her win again on the PWBA tour. It sits a little weird with me when I see the title numbers and stuff, and that Kelly, she was just fantastic at the wrong time for the PWBA.
Yeah, she has 5 titles or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and well, no, she has more than that because she has 5 majors. But it's kind of really weird the way it comes down because there was no. But it looks like this season, I think that the 1 year off did her more benefit than almost anybody else. She had a lot of problems with her ankles and such, and the break seems to have really done her good. It let her kind of heal up, and she's been bowling fantastic this season. So it was great to see her win, but
she was using a C4 at least part of the time.
Mm-hmm. Shot 300 with a C4. But those balls, they're the balls we're talking about, those smoother ones. Mine is 5.5 by about a quarter up.
And mine's 4.5, 1 up.
So.
Yeah, but sorry, I interrupted your thought there. But yeah, those smaller core balls with some covers that you can use in place of urethane, because by and large on the women's tour they don't use urethane at all, and because nobody needs to.
Well, just
either. So
there's actually been even they're leaning that way now as well. Sydney Brummett was quite successful with urethane. There's somebody who doesn't really have a high rev rate, but actually does really well with a pitch black. Verity had a decent bit of success using the urethane. So there is actually a move to it because, why not? Seems like the whole world wants to use urethane on everything. So why should the ladies' tour be any different?
I guess so.
Did you see the post in the Southwest Bowlers? This was my last thing that was on. A league started last night, and they said, take urethane to get the F out of here. We're not sanctioned, and you're not allowed to use urethane in this league.
All right.
Thoughts? I mean, I've got 2 thoughts on it, right? The first thought is the realistic thought of, you guys are smoking crack. It's a bowling ball. Deal with it. My second thoughts are you available to be the executive director of the USBC? Oh, dear.
And there we go.
Sorry. You're not on your own, Justin. Everybody on your side of the lane to go back to being irrelevant.
Oh, your skill sets would just adjust a little.
Or irrelevancy.
Yes, we might have to put 2 more fingers in, get his rev rate down.
Danielle even used a bit of urethane. So there you go. There's somebody who doesn't have a 325 rev rate. I'm glad you appreciate George.
Yeah, George, I think what we're going to do
It seems like Norm Duke could join him as well.
Yeah, I think he is low-key.
We might poke that
plan. Stew World Order. I like that.
Stew World Order. Yeah, thanks, Doyle. Appreciate the idea. So, all right. Well, we've had a fun show. Yeah, I guess we should wrap it up. Have we got said guest confirmed for Tuesday, Christopher?
We do have one online. I think we're going to plan a 1-year anniversary show next Tuesday. So we will be bringing in a surprise guest that is, I think we feel maybe our best guest in year 1.
In the chat, write down if we could have any guest that's been on the show before. Again, who would you want? Let's just see how many of you are listening and how many of you know Beef and Barnzy history. Who would be the best guest that we could have back on? Yep, the Euros are starting this weekend. The soccer. I can sing the old favorite, England till half time, as opposed to England till I die. That's my dad's favorite song, England till half time, as opposed to, dying with it. Oh, we've got
Duke Hutch, PA, Duke or Hutch.
It's funny people are writing Hutch. That episode didn't really go down that well.
No, Hutch is a great guy, but we didn't get Hutch on his best day. Poor host. Yeah. I'll tell Linda she can host next week. So.
Oh dear.
New host, Mika.
Frank the Tank's getting some love. Love it. Frank feels like he's more of a host than a guest, though.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning the league.
55 years of hurt. Yep, there it is. England last won the World Cup in 1966.
Okay, yeah, I had no idea what he was talking about. So
yeah. So yes, there it is.
Yeah. There's another one of my teammates. Kevin Denny did not join us. I don't think he wanted to hear about what we had to talk about. John actually had a pretty good look, and he's a softer-handed guy. He was able to play out in doubles and singles better than the rest of us. So
he's back.
There we go. Doherty and Robson together. Was a good one.
Oh, God.
Regina, I just told somebody yesterday how much I liked you and George. Evidently, it was just George. So,
I think you're an acquired taste, Chris.
Well, I don't think many people take the time to acquire it. So
yeah, but once you do,
yeah.
Oh dear.
Wow, I wouldn't even need to talk. We just listened.
We just hope that the mob didn't find out he was on the show, because they might ask us where he is.
Yeah, I don't want that call. Nobody knocking on my door. All right, I think we got some ideas, but next Tuesday, tune in, 1 year anniversary. We will have on kind of a best of list, and I guess you got anything else?
Nope. No, just check out that video. It's seemingly doing quite well at the minute. Watching my wife bowl against me. We're off to a good start, and smash that like button. Let's get some likes. Get our algorithm working better, so we can produce more content and get more views, more subscribers, more everything. So would really appreciate it. Hit the bell as well.
Yeah, much appreciated. It helps us get some resources so we can do some better stuff on here. And once again, thanks to the Holiday Lanes guys and Chris Skillings and them for letting me sub in with them. I had a lot of fun. It's good guys, even for Oklahomans. So,
yeah, exactly.
All right. Once again, support those small businesses, those bowling centers, help them get through the summer out here. More summer leagues than there's been in a long time. And when you get a chance, we'd appreciate if you'd support the sponsors that support us. Storm, Rotogrip, Menor Global, Vice, Coolwick, 3G Shoes, Master, Bowlers Mark Baker Bowling, and, of course, Fire Lake Bowling Center. So until next time, join us Tuesday for the 1 year anniversary edition. Hit that like button. Talk to you next time.
See ya.